not knowing this yes and no and maybe is totally normal. This is something that you've been taught to not know over the course of your life.
Boo.
Boo. By really well-meaning people who didn't know any better, right?
Yes. Can I tell you something? The
Yeah.
story?
Oh, please. Yeah.
Okay. Picture this. I must have been 9 years old, and I was so excited with my creamsicle-like jumper. It was short sleeves, like cap sleeves. It had white buttons. It had orange and white vertical stripes. And I loved it. It was this jumpsuit, where it's like one piece and you got to take the whole thing down to go pee. I loved it so much. I wore it everywhere. It made me so happy. And I felt like I looked so great.
Oh, and it
Okay.
was the 80s.
Yes.
Was it? Yeah. Perfect.
And then I saw my uncle, my favorite uncle. And he said something, I don't remember his exact words, that implied I looked fat.
Oh.
And I was crushed. And I remember sitting in the bathroom on the toilet, staring at my outfit and thinking, but I felt so good in it today. I feel so good in it every day. What does he mean I don't look cute in it?
Oh.
And it stuck with me. And I remember feeling confused. And I remember doubting myself, being like, oh, am I really that out to lunch? Like, I thought I looked cute. I felt really good today.
Yeah. Brutal.
And then it's that thing that takes away that childlike innocence, but also like starts planting that seed that, oh, maybe like the way I felt and thought about this is horribly off and wrong. And these other people who are seeing me must know better.
Right. And this is so relatable, like a human experience. We've all had this done to us. We've all done it to people. We cringe about it later. Like there's no way around this except for knowing yourself and your signals, right? It all becomes an inside job. We need to know what feels really good and true to us because we come from this long line of people who've all had the same experience and don't know any better. And we're just handing off trauma to each other constantly and other people's opinions handed down across the generations. It's ridiculous. And it's time for us to reprogram the whole situation and develop our own genuine opinions.
Yes. And I want to share this piece because I think it's a reminder that there's hope. Right? Because Steph, you're talking about these unconscious patterns that get passed down from generation one to the next from very well-meaning people. But I knew when I had kids, I'm like, I want to program them with something different. If my uncle would have said that to me that day, but my parents would have raised me in a way where it's like, if you feel great and it's not harming anyone, hallelujah, have a great time, enjoy the heck out of it. But I wasn't raised that way. I had that example that day in my creamsicle jumper was just one of the many, but that was the one that sort of cemented it in, oh, apparently I do not know what works and what doesn't. What I feel good in is wrong. Fast forward decades later, I'm parenting my own kid. My youngest in kindergarten comes home and says, I'm not going to kindergarten anymore. I'm not going back to school on Monday. He said, the teacher is yelling at us. I was like, oh boy, I don't know. What does a 5-year-old think a teacher is yelling is? Is it just that she raised her voice and, maybe she need to give the class some direction? So I tried to ask for more details. And one of the questions I asked was, did the other kids seem bothered? Are they bothered by it? She says, I don't know, but I am. Yay! I was so happy, right?
Yeah.
He either said, I don't know, but I am, or he said, no, but I am, right? But whatever, it doesn't matter exactly what it was. But what I took away was there's this 5-year-old boy who says, I don't really care if other people were bothered by that or not. I was bothered by that. I don't like it. It's a no for me.
That's excellent self-representation. When you tell these kinds of stories, it's so easy to go back into inner child mentality. And I kind of want to relate this to, this is all reparenting that we're doing for ourselves, right? And see if you can picture the feeling of a parent worrying more about what the neighbors think than what's important for you, right? And you can feel that sensation. And it's such a icky, abandoned kind of feeling versus the sensation of a parent saying, it doesn't matter what they think. How do you feel? What you feel is important. That's like this bracing, powerful, deep love and trust feeling. It's just a completely different vibe. And that's what we now get to experience giving to ourselves if we choose to.
Mm-hmm. And like every generation swings from one side of the pendulum to the other, right? When we can reparent ourselves in that way, where yes, my feelings matter, so do everyone else's, versus everybody else must be right. Everybody else's feelings and needs must matter most. Like a lot of us are needing to find some balance and recalibration from that type of upbringing and then that type of lived experience that we have recreated for ourselves for decades since childhood.
Yeah, for sure.